It is your feel-good breakfast show indeed, and let's face it, many people believe that long-distance relationships will never work. Others believe it's just not worth the hassle, but there are those who see it as necessary. Now, if you've met someone and you feel a connection with and you believe it's worth putting in the extra work, because it does take a lot of work, then listen up, because today we are discussing long-distance relationships and the long-distance love with our psychologist, Slindile Mbata. And we are also joined by someone who knows a little something about loving from afar, and he's an actor, director and producer, no stranger to your screens, Denver Frahom. Now, we encourage you at home to also join in on this discussion. We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so please WhatsApp us a voice note using this number 063 408 8863. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's so good to see you guys so bright and early, looking so bright on your faces, ready to talk about love, distance love at the Denver. I know that, you know, for many of us, we grew up seeing you on our TV screens. Your wife, Ingrid Paulus, for example, has been quite a staple on screen as well, on our households for years. Tell us more about this love story that we've all been inspired about through for so many years.
Yeah, so in 2003 or so, I went up to Johannesburg to present the show. And my co-presenter and Ingrid lived together. So she brought her to like a location shoot of ours. And one of the finalists, I said to him, listen, I don't watch TV, but everybody's talking about this woman and she's amazing. So I said, can we sing a song, you know, to charm her? So I tried my luck and I sang Every Breath You Take by Sting and the Police, and she fell for it.
And didn't take that much,
and take that, 20 years later,
wow.
we're still together. Yeah, it's an amazing journey, you know, with an almost 18-year-old autistic daughter. And when I turned 48, I said, I'm ready for one. So now she's 2, I'm 50, and we've got a 2-year-old running around the house.
Congratulations.
So thank you, yeah.
Look at all of that love in your household.
It's a lot of love. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of support and everything that goes with it, you know, with all the challenges that we've got. In our industry, being on the road most of the time, you know, but there's a lot of love. And I remember whenever I'm away, I would ask her to stand outside and see which stars she can see. And then I would say, listen, I'm under this one now, this is what it looks around me. Oh. And we would have a phone call like that, or a video call like that. But just situating where the star is, yeah.
Love it.
That's special and romantic. Very, very good. Slee, it takes a special person. In fact, it takes 2 special people to make a long-distance relationship work. Who is it for? And who is it not for?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's difficult, and I don't think it's for everybody necessarily. You know, I do think that there are some characteristics within certain individuals that can make it probably much, maybe not easier, but, you know, probably can make a long-distance relationship work. So I think for one, it's the investment in your partner and the investment in the relationship and making it work. So I think, you know, like Denver, I think you must have really believed that, you know, this person is absolutely worth it. And I think if you have that investment initially in your mind, it's the one thing that can also be such an anchor to you in very, very difficult times. So if you have an investment in your partner, you have an investment in making the relationship work, that can be one of the characteristics. Being very, very patient as well, because I think there are going to be some tricky times, you know, when your partner might not be there for you and you really, really need them to be. So if you can be quite patient, knowing that, okay, I might not see them now, but maybe in a couple of days' time, at least I can hang on to that. I know that they're going to be there. So I think that, and really the willingness to make it work. So I think if you have all of those basic characteristics, you probably can go the mile.
And it's a big emotional investment, but I think it's also understanding that you find new and interesting ways of being there for one another, right? So even though you're not physically there, which is something I imagine that you and Ingrid Denver had to do so much of. Being in the entertainment industry, you find yourselves traveling a lot. What are some of the challenges that come with this sort of lifestyle?
You know, we're very fortunate to have all these ways of communicating with each other now, you know, via video calls or whatever, Zoom calls, but the magic of it is open communication. There has to be open communication. Listen, Lovey, I miss you. It's tough out here, but I'm going to try and call you at such and such a time just to check up on you, or vice versa, you know. So there's got to be that communication that's happening. I mean, we all recently... fortunately, we work at the same place. I'm there for a week in a month where I get to direct the 7th line, you know. So for a week in a month, I get to tell her what to do. And then as for the rest, you know,
does she love that when you do that for a week and a half?
Just kiss him and get it over. You know, so we've got that. We've got the funny happening in the house. And like I say, you know, a 2-year-old keeping us on our toes. But the major thing, and I think you would stand here with me, is that if there's no communication, nothing will survive. Nothing will survive at all. Little note, you know, saying on the fridge, listen, I still smack you. Yeah. Or you get those candy bars that say, hoe lyk dit met 'n stukkie?
I love it.
Oh, amazing. Our panel is not going anywhere. They are staying with us. We are talking all things long-distance relationships. If you perhaps are in one or have experienced one, whether it's been good or bad, please share that with us. We would love to hear from you. Our WhatsApp number is 063 408 8863.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. Yes, it is your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso. We're live on S3 at the start of a brand new week. And we're talking all about love. Back with our panel discussing the highs and the lows of long-distance relationships. And we're featuring clinical psychologist, our favorite, Lindy Limbata, as well as actor, director, and producer, Denver Vragam. Now, if you've got any questions, maybe you have been in a long-distance relationship yourself, why don't you let us know? Share with us. We want to hear from you. Our WhatsApp line is 063 408 8863.
Well, our line is open and we actually have a few coming through. Let's listen to the first voice note that came through.
Good morning, Expresso. It's Dion here from Cape Town. Expresso, long-distance relationship is not easy. It's about communication. It's about trust. That's the most important thing in long-distance relationship. And try to communicate with your girlfriend or your wife. That's the key.
Well, that voice note exactly echoes what Denver said. Communication is key, but he also mentioned trust. Now, Slee, I know people where it's out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. How do people doing long-distance relationships avoid temptation?
Yeah, look, I think it's so important to not, for one, put yourself in situations where you can sort of get that instant gratification. I think sometimes, like I said, it can be difficult and we're human. So sometimes the temptation is there, you know, if you're feeling quite sad and you might go to a place where you know you're going to get comfort, whereas normally you would go to your partner. So you might have other people in your life who can sort of play that role, but it's important that it doesn't cross a boundary, into something that looks a bit blurry or feels a little bit funny. So I think making sure that you don't put yourself in those situations where you can almost like fulfill things that you would need from a partner through somebody else. But I think also having some kind of accountability structure is very important. Know what your triggers are. Know what your little weaknesses are. You know, what sort of makes you feel as though maybe you would want a closeness to your partner. What is it that makes you feel a little bit more vulnerable in the moment? And also, I think, communicate with your partner about that. You know, if you you're having a really tough time and you feel like, I really just wish they were here today, instead of running to somewhere where you can get that comfort, rather communicate with your partner about what you're actually going through. And I think you also keep each other accountable in that way.
And you build the trust, right? You've got to earn it, you've got to build it. But Denver, relationships aren't just limited and exclusive to the romantic partnerships. Sometimes these also have got to do with our children. If you've got children who sometimes may need the attention and the affection of their parents, but their parents, i.e. yourself and your wife, Ingrid, sometimes find themselves not being close and present physically, how do you navigate that?
So, like I said, we've got all these ways of communicating with each other now, you know, so that we can see each other. Like last night, the 2-year-old said to me, "I'm so happy to see you," just by a video call.
Oh,
you know, and it's talking to them constantly, telling them, and because having an autistic daughter, you know, they live with a program. You can't change their routine, so you've got to tell them, listen, such and such a time I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be available at such and such a time. So if you need to call me, or just send me a message or whatever. So that also, because they already know what's happening, it's just to confirm to them, you know, this is daddy's work now, this is daddy's routine now. I'm trying to stick to your routine as well, but for that I'll take time out. And I love my producers. They always work around my kids. You know, so now filming my kiddie show down in Cape Town, I could bring the elders with me so that mommy can only focus on the little one. You know, with her routine of acting and directing on the show, whereas I do a lot of voice work as well, so that also takes time. But then, again, with Sky being the eldest and being autistic, she could go with me and see, you know, okay, now he's really busy now. This is what he does. So when he's not at home, this is where he is. So it's instilling that in them as well, that we love you, but we have to keep you eating, dressed, and at school. So this is why we do this.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's
Lovely.
beautiful that she gets a little bit of an insight in what Dad does every day. We actually have another voice note that came through. Let's take a listen to this one.
Yes, I have been in a long-distance relationship, and it only works if both parties are willing to make it work, and not just one person loving the other and the other is just there to receive love. And you know, it's a two-way street, so it can be possible. It does work sometimes for some people, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it reminds me of that song, It Takes Two, baby. You and me.
Exactly that.
We'll continue our conversation with Denver and Slee here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Please do weigh in. We'd love to hear from you. More of those voice notes. Send them to us on WhatsApp, 063-408-8863. Long-distance relationships, or shall I call it long-distance love? How do you do it? How do you navigate that nature and that form of love?
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You are just in time as we are about to wrap up our discussion on long-distance love as it continues. Now, our panel consists of clinical psychologist Lindile Mbata, as well as actor, director, and producer Denver Vragom. Now, they are both standing by with some positive words to, you know, to leave us with. And we also encourage you at home to join in on this discussion through our WhatsApp line. Send those voice notes. The number is 063-408-8863. And I believe we have one we're going to start off with.
We do. We have a voice note. Let's hear what they have to say.
Good morning, Expresso show. So this is Nash here all the way from Cape Town. I've been in a long-distance relationship for the last 2.5 years, and I think the reason it's been working for my partner, he's from Port Elizabeth. We have just open communication. We literally communicate every day, either whether it's a phone call, a video call, a text, a WhatsApp, and you know, you just have to always be honest and just be very transparent with one another. And I also think if you're a certain age, you know, it doesn't usually work for the younger people. I'm in my early 40s, and I think that is also one of the reasons it works so well. So, yeah, long distance at its best. Going in for my 3rd year, and I won't change it for anything, you know, until we finally tie that knot. So thanks, Expresso.
I love it.
I love hearing stories
love
like
story
this.
I love it.
Now, Slee, often, you know, I've tried the whole long distance thing before, and, you know, he could be intimate from a distance, but not in person when we met up. Now, how does communication, the best way to ask it basically is, I know communication is key, but is there such a thing as too much communication that could also be to your detriment in a long distance relationship?
Yeah, sure. I think, you know, if you put too much pressure on your partner maybe to communicate things, and we have to communicate all the time, then it can become a little bit of a problem, because obviously you can imagine the amount of anxiety it causes, and oh my goodness, I forgot to, you know, say something to my partner. I think it's much more about the quality of the communication as opposed to the quantity. You want to be able to share special moments, you know, like Denver was talking about with seeing the stars in the sky. So I think even though you might not have spoken to your partner all the way throughout that day and that particular day, but you keep them in mind for special things that happen in your life. Maybe you see a spectacular sunrise or amazing sunset, or you've gone on a hike and you really just want, you know, to share that moment with them. So I think it's that communication in terms of how do you hold your partner in mind when you're going through certain things. So even if you're going to have a busy day, you know you're going to have a conference or whatever it is, just letting them know that, you know what, I'm going to finish quite late today, actually, so it might throw off our communication schedule a little bit. But you know what, I'll be thinking about you, and I just wanted you to know, so, you know, I haven't forgotten you. So I think it's that kind of very quality communication as opposed to how often is it that it's happening.
I think sometimes it's also the small things, right? Having been in a long-distance relationship myself, I often found that sometimes I took, you know, certain things for granted, and I thought they were too trivial to share. Meanwhile, your partner, who's sitting all the way 1,000 kilometers away, thinks, wow, I just saw on Instagram that you posted and told everyone on the stories that this is happening. It would have been nice to know, right? And I'm sure you've had to deal with that, you know, Ingrid isn't reading on the newspaper on Sunday that you have a show coming up, or that you had an interview on some TV show.
What I do is I normally, for the amount of time that I'm gone, I put a little roster on the fridge saying, this is more or less what I'm going to be doing. And she knows that if I'm in the recording studio, my makeup will be at 9 or so. I'll be recording from 10 till about 1, you know, doing 4 episodes in the morning, more or less. That's just, you know, the time. In the afternoons, I'm just taking a little break, taking a walk or whatever, and then I'm back with the 7-line script. So between this and this time, but if it doesn't happen that way, you know, I surprise them, or they would surprise me by saying, look what we've made, you know, Hannah did this. Or, and what's Sky doing? I don't know, she's there with the uncle. That's right, so we've got that, you know, to do. So not sticking to a schedule, but knowing more or less what the day looks like. So, yeah.
I love that.
Also gives your partner a little bit of understanding of what you're doing from a distance.
Yeah.
Can we just wrap this up with something positive for couples that are currently in a long-distance relationship or potentially thinking of it? Maybe Slee, from you?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's so amazing to hear the stories of how many long-distance relationships are actually working out for people. Yeah. And I think it's such a testament to the fact that if you want it to work, you really can make it work. So, you know, stick with it. And if you are invested in your partner, just be thinking about how can you hold them in mind? How can you incorporate them in your day? And it's really just having almost like this image of someone that's with you in your heart all the time. And so I think just doing that and the little things that matter. You don't have to do big gestures all the time, but I think it's really, really the little things, and you can make it work.
You can definitely make it work. Denver, thank you for joining us.
It's such a pleasure. It's such a beautiful being back here. And like Slee said, you know, you surprise your partner. Like on the road trip that they had to Bloom. It was our anniversary, you know. She didn't know I was coming, but there was a cake and I was there.
Oh.
So little things like
small
that.
moments to capture. Well, listen, distance certainly doesn't have to signal the end of a long-distance relationship. It takes a lot more or a bit more extra effort, but everyone certainly can pick up those qualities that does help build and nurture a relationship. You've got this, okay? Go love out there.